first, Trevor. I'll be honest, I don't think my voice could cope with fighting all day, and Ender's already called out all the other regions to fight with him, so we have enough fighting over here right now.
My voice was a little bit shot after that shoot yesterday. I was screaming, hollering at the sky. Man yells at cloud. Young man yells at cloud.
Young man yells at cloud. It's the evolution of the meme. But we are here for SK versus XL. We've heard a lot on the analyst desk about, you know, Patrik and Crownshot will be the key players in this game. What are your thoughts on the SK versus XL, who comes out on top rivalry?
I mean, I think we actually saw a really good taste of it the last time these two teams played against each other, because it was all about the team fights. These are two teams that are driven very much by their ADCs, and what that means is compositionally, they're going to be drafting for those 5v5s. It's going to be crucial for these ADCs to come up and show up on the day to perform, and I just feel like this draft is going to be so impactful, because if you get an edge with two 5v5 teams that like to go into the team fights, you get an edge in draft, that gives you such a bonus.
It feels like the teams are like 2 or 3% different, right? Maybe XL are 2 or 3% better, or SK are 2 or 3% better, and the difference that can be made with a good AD carry, with a Twitch, with an Ezreal, with an Aphelios, could be the deciding factor in this matchup. We are about to jump on into the draft. Let's go. The music's a little bit more chill this time. I'm enjoying it, setting us up for what is likely to be a tumultuous affair.
It's game one of the day, so we got to ease into things after that. I mean, a very exciting ready check.
That was great fun to watch.
Frosk and Vedius throwing down on the analyst desk, fighting over who's going to win. I think Vedius at the end, Vedius was siding with SK, Frosk was siding with XL, so we'll see how it goes down here, but really it is a battle between these two ADCs. We know the broken stuff. We know Aphelios still up there, Senna way up there as well. Varus still priority way going to be down low on that champion after those nerfs that came in just last week.
We have also heard about the Ashe already in ready check from Frosk. Very powerful AD carry, gives you a bit of utility, gives you very strong wave control as well. With the Volley Bear being removed, the Kalista, no real surprises there. The Orianna, a little bit less conventional, and there's the Twitch getting taken away by XL.
Yeah, of course we saw Crownshot play that. It's funny because I think we've only seen him play it the one time, but there was one game in particular where I was like, wait a second, I think Crownshot's going to pick the Twitch here, and I talked to him a little bit afterwards, like, yeah, we missed the opportunity. So this is definitely a champion that is very much in Crownshot's wheelhouse. We saw the Twitch Yuumi be really powerful.
And we've already seen two mid laners banned out here, and Azir is the next one that jumps to the forefront of my mind. ZaZee's played 4 games on it. Special has 2. I wonder if XL will remove it, or whether they're willing to let the Azir get picked up early on.
Nope, they're going to take that away from ZaZee. So it's ZaZee's most played gone, Special's most played in the Twisted Fate out of there. And I think the TF ban against XL is really nice, because when Special is not on that Twisted Fate, he defaults to champions that are a little bit less roam-oriented. He's played a lot of different picks so far this split, but it definitely removes a lot of the pressure that could be placed down onto the bottom lane.
You know what is still available, though?
Yeah?
Crownie's Ezreal. Crownie's Ezreal is still up and available. First
so
pick.
is Crownie's Aphelios.
So is Crownie's Aphelios. That is true. He is currently 3-1 on the Aphelios and only 2-2 on the Ezreal. So statistically, more likely to win this game than the others they've played.
Yeah, it's been a few games since he's played that Ezreal as well. He played a lot of games back in week 1 and 2. Has since favored a lot more of the Aphelios in these ones, and now XL are not going to answer with the Ashe. I think Ashe Thresh is a really fantastic response into the Aphelios, both for the lane phase as well as the options you can offer into team fights a little bit later on. But this is going to be the standard farming Senna that is taking much more priority here in the LEC, so is going to be going for the last hits. The fasting nonsense is gone after some buffs to the just regular old AD Senna.
Yeah, you can get you're more likely to get missed fragments from cannons, if I remember correctly, the buffs that happened. He did play that last week, lost against Rogue to it, only going 0-1-2, and there's the Bard to be teamed up alongside the Aphelios in the bottom lane. Limit is a well-known Bard player, but it's always surprising to see Bard picked when there were so many other good supports on the menu.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Bard. I think we've seen LeBlanc's Bard a lot be really powerful. What I was not expecting was a Kennen next to it, because as soon as the Bard gets locked, I'm like, okay, Jenax is probably going to go on to those tank tops, but in recent weeks, he has played a whole lot of these AP top laners. He's played the Malphite, the Sylas, the Kennen was the one he just played a second ago, so willing to blind pick that Kennen, and I think that Kennen plus Bard does make some sense. A lot of people think of the Kennen pick
anti-synergy,
yeah, but a lot of people also think of the Kennen pick as the champion that wants to go in first, but I think he's the best like secondary engage option there, because he's not a tank, you know, so having the Bard to engage from long range, give Kennen the time to reposition, get into the fight there with the ultimate is going to be a pretty solid combination.
It's going to be very interesting to see how SK are able to utilize what is beginning to look like a pretty conventional team fight composition, a bit of a wombo combo coming out from them. Excel, less team fight oriented.
Sure.
You know, Senna is a team fight AD carry, but also relies on being strong in the lane. LeBlanc more about finding picks, finding skirmishes.
Yeah, and this LeBlanc pick, I think, is really clutch here from Excel. They see 3 very squishy champions in the support position and in the top lane position too, so there's going to be a lot of targets for Special to try and poke in the mid and later stages of the game. This is going to be a team fight comp likely from Excel that wants to take things a little bit slower, allow LeBlanc to get some damage down. Of course, they can abuse the healing that Senna can provide as well, and then play off of the big spells like the Thresh hook or whatever engage options they draft themselves towards the top side of the map. So I do like the options here for Excel, provided they have enough counter engage options and disengage options into the Kennen. And I think with a Thresh Lantern, you're already very much on track to do that.
And with the Kha'Zix getting removed by XL, they're trying to pinch that jungle role just a little bit, getting rid of the Corki as well, just strong into the LeBlanc in the mid lane. SK Gaming, they have a few different options here. We've seen Trick mostly go towards these sort of utility tank junglers, the Sett, the Volibear, the Trundle, a Gragas to a degree, but with Kha'Zix and Lee Sin being taken away, I'm wondering if he'll look towards something like the Sett.
Yeah, the Sett's been a really strong pick for Trick in particular. This split, but Caedrel's also played it a couple of times, so might just want to take that one away. Yeah, I like this a lot coming through from Caedrel. And now I also see that Jace ban, while Kryze hasn't played it yet. Kryze plays almost exclusively ranged damage dealing top lane champions. Like, the man loves his damage dealers up there, and the Jace can certainly give that Kennen a tough time.
And of course, the other benefit of a Sett is, hey, Kennen's running towards me. What am I going to do? Showstopper. Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. You're not allowed in this ring. We only fight without electrical Pokemon. The ZaZee getting picked up here for ZaZee. He's played that once already this split, and it looks like they're looking for a farming jungler alongside him. Graves would be the quintessential, just scale up jungler.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like it.
This is really interesting coming through from Excel because they do not have a front line at all
from
so
SK.
far. From SK, yes, sorry. And I mean, they also are basically saying like, hey, we're going to match, you know, the Poke of LeBlanc later on into the game with the ZaZee now. Of course, they don't have as good sustain options within fights, and now with a Nocturne coming in, that is going to be their go button. So this creates some really cool synergies where before we were talking about how Bard wants to set up for the Kennen to get in range. Now the Darkness is going to set up for a Bardal that's also going to give Kennen time to reposition in the backline. So they have to be much more creative with how they approach fights, and this is not necessarily a classic SK composition, I would say. This requires an extra layer of coordination here, but certainly excites me.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And there is a ranged damage dealer in the top lane for Kryze, Vladimir, one of his most played this split. So no real surprises there, but I do want to come back to that sort of discussion they had on the AD, and what we started off this segment by saying is we expect both these teams to be built around their AD carries and team fighting. Now, I look at XL and I say, you got a Senna. That's not the key AD carry in a team fight. I look at SK and it's not a traditional team fight comp, right? You don't have this tanky front line that you can just work front to back with.
Well, I mean, we are thinking about this matchup as the two ADCs, but what we've seen now is everyone has some carry potential. Everyone has some agency here to try and carry the game, and that means top lane can get exciting. There's a lot of magic damage floating around too, so if Caedrel's able to get a lead in the jungle, he's going to be really hard for SK to deal with. All in all, this game has defied my expectations already a little bit in draft, and I'm loving what I'm seeing.
XL versus SK to kick us off. It's going to be a great day, I am sure. We're over halfway through the season. We are getting down to the point where you really got to win all of these matches against people close to you if you want to take the position in playoffs. And a little
That's
bit...
not SK versus Excel.
Ignore that, guys. It's fine. We are on to the real Summoner's Rift. That was a parallel universe, obviously, that we were just watching.
It's not scripted at all, guys. I promise.
Don't do that, Twitch chat, Ender. Twitch chat. You can't lead them on like this. It's the bait and switch. Anyway. Let's early on just look at what these junglers are likely to do. Caedrel seems to be going to start on this bottom side. Trick might actually do the same, and Trick has actually been a proponent of the level 3 bot lane gank throughout the course of this split, and we've said he wants to get Crownshot ahead. Actually, SK tend not to win if Crownshot isn't ahead. They've only won one game when he's been behind at the 15-minute mark, and usually he has about 1,500 gold lead at 15 minutes.
Yeah, typically it is all about Crowny in the bottom lane, but I feel like this game is going to be a little bit different, especially with Trick on the Nocturne in the jungle. You can already see him starting bot side. He's going to be pathing up top, so it is not going to be that level 3 gank towards that bottom lane. You know, typically the Nocturne is going to be looking to farm up, secure at least one Scuttle Crab inside of the river, and look for a very fast level 6. Whereas on the other hand, I think Caedrel may be looking for some earlier moves, specifically around the mid lane. You see that's an Ignite on LeBlanc. LeBlanc has such good setup in terms of CC versus the teleport on the other side. Although ZaZee is going to be running that unsealed spellbook, he won't be able to swap over super early into the laning phase. But also, Caedrel does have gank options down on the bottom side as well. I think Sett with a Lantern coming in allows him to reposition really nicely, and is one of the better combos for looking for bot lane plays.
So that's one of those junglers that doesn't really have a gap closer himself. If he's on top of someone, he's really good at locking them down and keeping them in the spot, but he needs someone to help with the initial CC, you know, a Thresh hook or that Lantern to bring him close enough so that he can land the face breaker. Trick just doing the full bottom side clear here. He's going to take his Razor Beaks and slightly faster jungle for Caedrel early on. There's a little bit of a CS lead building up for Special in the mid lane as well, just harassing that Zoe down whenever he can. And I want to talk a little bit about XL and just how they're working towards playoffs and sort of the expectations for this team, because we heard from Youngbuck, like, they're not really sure where they're placed in the league right now. And I think a lot of people would say, I'm not really sure where XL plays either. I'm not really sure where anyone places. But what I can tell you for XL is, including this match, they have 7 matches left. Their next 4 matches are SK, Vitality, Schalke, Misfits. In week 8, our Super Week, they have Fnatic, Origin, G2. Ouch. Now, if you look at where Fnatic and G2 stand right now in the table, perhaps not too difficult, but the expectation is they will continue to ramp up. So XL really need to win this game tomorrow and then both their games next week if they're going to stand a chance at playoffs.
And it's funny that Youngbuck says they don't really know where they stand in the week. They had, you know, a good week and a bad week, but they also just played Rogue and Mad Lions last week, who are 2 best teams in the league currently. So I think you need to give yourself a little credit. Those are going to be the tougher matchups to win now. Back in game, Patrik and Tori going for a 3-minute 30 recall here. And this is what I was saying, Trick wants to play for the early Scuttle Crab, but Sett can very easily force him out of the river and even uses the sweeper there to spot him. So now Caedrel can take this topside Scuttle Crab, can also then path down bot side, because look at this. With the early reset from Tori, Tori can also move over here.
But the Kennen's on his way down. Jenax trying to get down through the river here. Kryze doesn't really have the wave clear that you'd want early on in the Vladimir. You need some AP behind you before you can clear it out. And Redemption going down from Zoe as well, as Caedrel is locked up. The Paddle Star will connect. The Lantern gets Caedrel out. But Trick is the one that gets the Scuttle Crab.
Caedrel's just fuming right now. He's like, where's my team? I want to fight him in the river. I want to go ham. Gets roamed on by Jenax, gets slapped in the face by a Paddle Star. Tori was trying to help him out, but it was just a little bit slow there, and won't be able to cancel the reset either. On, I believe that was that Limit who just walked up there? Yeah,
Astrobot.
Right. But regardless, Tori will be back down here into the bot side river first, and now you see Limit can't even path back into the river. Usually you'd see him walk up there, but because it's very dark, they know both Caedrel and Tori very likely took a reset. They're not even going to try to contest vision in that area.
They could contest the Scuttle Crab in a little while, because Caedrel hasn't made his way straight to there, and that bot side Scuttle is still available. Would be great for Trick, of course, if he can get both the Scuttles off the map. Actually, wait, did they...
It's a bit risky, I think.
That's a spectator bug, right? The topside Scuttle with the red?
Wait, did he get that somehow, or did...
Observers, can we just move over to the topside Scuttle, please, as we see Caedrel taking the bottom side one? That's red.
Wait, someone explain.
XL got that somehow. Okay, well, that's surprising.
Because Caedrel didn't have Smite. I was checking for sure.
Maybe Kryze came down and took it, but all we can say is on the spectator client, it looks like XL got both of the Scuttle Crabs. And alongside it, they're going to get this Cloud Drake, so that's a great start for XL, you know? Yeah. They get an early dragon, they keep that dragon timer ticking. There's a cull on Crownshot, so it's going to be a little while before he really scales up. And if XL can get a few dragons in a row, they're going to be in a really good position.
No! Wait, he faded away, assuming it was going to tick down.
Okay, so you know how Venius was talking about, we can't forgive XL for these small mistakes, these execution errors. That is the epitome of an execution error right there from
Except
SK.
it was SK that made the error. That's crazy. I mean, Trick is very sad with that one because Scuttle Crab, it gives you the third most EXP for any camp at the start of the game. It will spawn in getting more than a blue buff or red buff. It only does less than that Gromp.
Kryze with the Sanguine Pool here, trying to get out of the stun. Will use the flash and his ultimate, the Emo Plague.
Also, Nimbus Cloak makes it almost impossible to catch. I mean, Nimbus Cloak is so insane right now that I really like that we're seeing more the Kennen and the Vladimir.
You can just build it on anyone, though. You don't even need Kennen or Vladimir to do it.
Yeah, no, but like these are champions that I think with like Unsealed Spellbook especially, like we'll see Kennen swap over to a Flash and a Ghost for a team fight a little bit later on, but that movement speed is so insane for them in these later fights. Now, Caedrel was looking for a top lane play and won't be able to commit towards that one because of the nice ward left by Trick.
Nimbus just going to get away with the Gravitum stun on Torre here. The Ignite goes down on Trick. On Soin limit. Torre will flash away. Patrik can put some more damage down, but needs to be a little bit careful. Special on his way down as well.
Trick reward though, but they're still walking forward.
And they're getting the stuns up, they're getting the lockup. The cleanse comes out from Patrik, and here comes Special. Limit's going to flash away, but he's ignited, and he goes down. First blood to XL. ZaZee's on his way down towards the bottom lane as well. Special very low on mana. Torre very low on health. The Lantern taking Patrik's side. Flash. Ignite is ticking down. Noia coming out as Trick dives underneath the tower. The hook's going to land on him. And you can see Special not quite able to get the final shots. Crownshot almost falls as well, but both the SK players stay alive, and XL walk away wounded. Here comes Caedrel.
I mean, how did they get away with that, Caedrel? He has a flash up, but...
Wait, no, there's no portal jump for ZaZee, but the sleep's going to stop.
Okay, so that was just crazy down the bottom because SK had like 2 or 3 members that just survived on a sliver of HP there. The start of the play was so weird though because Special was literally seen a year and a half ago on ward walking down bot side. Like if you look at the minimap right now, he's gonna walk right over that control ward, and SK's bot lane either don't realize that or are not being told that by their team.
There's a question mark thing on him.
I mean, Patrik steps forward and they're like, we're gonna go for this. We're gonna continue to step up. Why is Limit doing this? I don't know, because Special is still on the way over and is able to finish off that kill. But after this play is where things do turn around because ZaZee is here on the collapse and both Patrik and Tori are super, super low. So he flashes to pick up a fake flash, flashes again, drops the Ignite, does so much damage with his W, and then Trick comes in to finish it off.
Trick had just hit 6 off the clocks that he was doing as the fight started as well. So obviously very aware that he needed to get that paranoia up. Caedrel going in here, Smite goes down, Caedrel secures it. Oh, it didn't pick up the eye. Oh no, Trick got it, okay. Look. I'll be honest, junglers don't seem to be smiting the things when
Can we just not go to the top river anymore? Because it confuses us all.
Avoid it forever. Anyway, so Rift Hour was picked up here. Patrik swapped over towards the top side alongside Crownshot and Limit, so they should be able to just clear out this wave as it pushes into the tower. Importantly for SK, Crownshot got a kill and an assist in that play in the bottom lane. He now has a BF sword. His cull is 60 stacks away from completion, and he's sitting in a good position on this Aphelios to try and win out those team fights later on.
The thing about this Aphelios is that in a composition like this is a game where gun choice is going to matter quite a bit. When we look later, looking for like the Gravitum gun as another long-range engage option because they don't have a real front line. Like that is how he tracks his, or how he manages rather, his ammunition in the mid to later game stages. Is something we're gonna have to keep a look out for. But we've seen a lot of Crownshot Aphelios, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah, he's a very good Aphelios player. A lot of it is because the team is generally built at making him a very good Aphelios player. Like when you have 2 tanks in front of you, a little bit of CC from your support, then it's very easy just to work your way front to back in team fights. But no discredit to Crownshot, he is having a pretty stellar split, and I think SK as a whole are having a pretty stellar split. You know, no one would have, well, very few people would have predicted them to be 6-5 at this point in the season, fighting up for not just a playoff spot, but also, you know, they're still in the fight for third, currently tied with Fnatic, with Origin in that battle for third place.
Certainly a team that has continued to surprise us, especially because they did make some roster changes, you know, especially swapping Jenax into the top lane was not what anyone really expected, I don't think, but has slotted in pretty seamlessly here for the team. Now, the real challenge for SK in this game is going to be dealing with the XL solo laners, I think.
Okay.
You know? We talk a lot about Patrik. This is not his game on the Senna. This is a game against very little hard crowd control options where Kryze and Special can pop off.
So it's just going to jump in here onto ZaZee. The portal jump comes back. There's a face breaker, flash stolen away here, but the showstopper will kill ZaZee. Special almost down as well, healed up. Oh, Special still alive. Can he get out of this one?
There's no.
What's your bet, Ender?
No.
10% likelihood. And
Zero.
for Fate, he's avoided damage. Execution counts as getting out. Execution counts as getting out. Oh, okay, well, he just gives the kill to Crownshot.
Yeah, I was like, he did get hit pretty recently. Still in combat with those minions there, so we'll hand it over to Crownshot. Even if the ultimate missed, it was a zoning ult. He zoned him all the way into the inhibitor tower. It's very effective.
I need to use that excuse more when I play Bard. It's like, I missed all my ults, but no, I was pushing them into the place where you guys could have fought.
Exactly.
Second dragon in the game, though, for XL. We mentioned when they took the first that they could look for this Soul Wing condition. It's going to be an Infernal Soul, which will only buff up the Vladimir and the LeBlanc when they go in for these burst combos. And you can see Kryze actually already winning out on these 1v1s in the side lane.
And with damage dealing top laner, Infernal Drakes stacking those up is going to feel very nice. Now, the initial binding misses there from the LeBlanc, but it doesn't matter because Sett just picks him up and slams ZaZee down into the ground. And then it is the amazing chase, you know, special dodges one ultimate. He dodges a second ultimate, but can't dodge nearly enough to stay alive.
Trick has Rift out here in the top lane. So we jump back.
Special is on the flank here, and Caedrel is trying to run on forward.
Laure uses the hook, that lands onto a limit. He's pulled back under the tower. The magical journey will get him away. The ignite is ticking. He's not going to take enough damage, but here is the dawning shadow. Patrik finds his first kill of the game.
All right, Patrik shows up to land the last hit and get that kill, and he's going to be sticking around mid lane to be able to pick up the CS here too. So all in all, a very high efficiency move for the Senna. You drop one ultimate, you only go halfway to top lane, and you get a couple of bucks for the CS too. And now XL don't really have a great option because that Herald is still going to be actually, wait. No, yeah, he's hex flashing over the wall. I'm like, wait a second, what is he doing? The Herald's not there. But yeah, they don't really have anything they convert into in the top side. And because the Herald was dropped there too, there still will be quite a bit of gold that SK are able to pick up.
Yeah, at the moment, they're about 400 gold ahead. Jenax with the build order Cutlass in the bottom lane is going to trade. Kryze has the 300 gold lead in the top lane, 300 in advantage for Trick in the jungle, and about 300 ahead for Crownshot. So they're actually in an okay position, with Crownshot being relatively ahead of his opponent, but not a huge advantage, which is what SK tended to rely on when they took their wins in the past.
I mean, when we remember back to the last time these two teams did face off, it was a very close game.
Oh, it was epic.
I think Crownshot and Patrik both had almost 10 kills apiece, putting on really insane performances down on the bot side, but this game, again, I do feel like it is a bit different because there are some huge comparisons between the other laners. Top lane, both, you know, team fighting mages. Mid lane, both these poke mages later on. You might say, LeBlanc poke mage, what? But eventually once some MR gets built up, you really do need to play in and out of fights, get a few combos down before you deal with serious damage.
I understand that, and I think we, as you said, those solo laners for XL are going to be a key point for us to watch as this game develops. But as we seem to have a little bit of a moment into play here, I want to discuss just Senna as traditional bot laner, right? Because when we talk about bot laners, you know, you separate them into scaling, utility, you know, you see the Aphelios, like, oh, he's a great team fighter, but Senna, when she farms, does still get a huge amount of gold and can do a huge amount of damage. So to me, she falls in this kind of loose, strange position where she's not quite a scaling champion, but she does scale quite well. And she's not quite a full-on teamfight hyper carry, but she can also do quite a lot of work in teamfights.
Yeah, it's like you almost have to think of her auto-attacking more similar to a Jhin, right? Where it is a bit delayed. It's not like you can just spam out auto-attacks and shred through people in the front. But in the same vein, you do have to think about her very differently because I think one of her greatest strengths is the fact that she can deal damage and heal her allies. Like, obviously, right? That's going to be huge. So when you have Caedrel in the front line that can get consistently healed, you enable your front liners, especially a Vladimir. The healing on top of that can be really impactful later in these fights.
Let's see if it's impactful in this fight as the Hex Flash comes in from Caedrel. The eye was popped. Caedrel will use the smite, and once again it's Trick that wins out on that fight. 2 Rift Outs out of 2 for SK.
Just trying to swoop on in there, get the smite seal. Doesn't work though. Trick shows up, and this is, I mean, it's really interesting because neither team wants to fully commit to a fight, especially these top laners. Like, hey, give me time. Like, yeah, we have one item, but once you get the Zhonya's working on, I actually really like Kennens when they skip the Zhonya's nowadays and go for stuff like the Leandries, the Rabadons, go for the full damage options here. I think it's one of those things where on the Kennen, the Zhonya's is a great item situationally, but I hate standing still on the Kennen, because if you prop the Zhonya's, then people just walk out your ultimate. They get Lantern out, and you need the flash, you need stuff like the Proto Belt to be able to chase people down.
I get that, but also, in this composition, I think a Zhonya's works for Jenax, right? Because firstly, you're not the key source of damage. You have an Aphelios and you have a Zoe. And secondly, people are going to be locked in place for you before you even go in. Temper Fate comes out. Special has to use the flash. Obviously distorted just a moment ago, so wouldn't be able to distort out of that one. He is able to survive. And it's 16 seconds on the next dragon here, Ender.
And Kryze has walked over, so level 11 on the Vladimir, actually a really big break point for the champion, especially when you consider Jenax on the other side is only level 10, so might want to stay top lane. He might be just one minion wave away from ticking over to that. If he gets that and then can teleport into the fight, it would be very, very worth it for SK.
Where are the TP wards for SK? There's one down here towards the bottom Kryze. He has just hit level 11, as you say. Special has a good flank position here as Trick and Crownshot and Limit try and push forward. TP coming in. That's straight towards the mid lane. This dragon's almost gone before they can even get in, but here's the paranoia and here's the combo. We've been setting up for Trick for so long. Showstopper coming out from Caedrel as he tries to fight towards the bottom side, and Jenax able to lock out 3. Kryze though, taking out Trick. The dragon goes down. It's Caedrel who secures it. And also Jenax dies as he tried to zone the rest of XL away. Good fight for XL. They get their 3rd dragon of the game, and they get 2 kills.
And that's the smite that really matters there for Caedrel, putting themselves on soul point now for a 21-minute Infernal Soul. If the composition is building a lot of damage, you'll love to see that. And I think Kryze put a lot of work into the back line there as well to come away with that win.
Yeah, both he and Caedrel were stuck in the pit. Special here with the chains, gonna root up ZaZee. Will have a little bit more damage. Still has the ignite if he wants to go in, but with ZaZee having a flash on the W, this seems very greedy from Special. He still gets it. He's gonna tick away. 1 for 1 in the bottom lane. A little bit of help from Limit. Must have put down a Caretaker Shrine.
The best part is that there's been a raging debate in the community for a while. It's like, does LeBlanc actually counter Zoe? And in this game, Zoe got picked in. Well, they both kill each other, you know? It's dead even right there in my eyes. And now we'll watch this fight because at the start, right, you do have Trick trying to get into the pit. Both junglers are beating down on each other as they go for the smite fight here. And I believe Trick smites early for some HP. Caedrel, very patient there, is able to finish that one off. And then it's like a 3v1 for the Kennen in the backline, and he drops down. Meanwhile, Kryze can flash out, so it is an uneven trade.
Crownshot had to flash out of the back of the pit there as well, so his flash will be down for the next while or so. And you can see both the top laners topping the damage charts. Patrik in a better position on this Senna as well to put out some DPS in that fight, as Crownshot really never got towards the targets he was looking for, and then when he did, he was locked out of the pit. It puts XL in such a good position, and this is a good demonstration of when they execute, they're actually a very strong team, is what Fosk was saying. However, we've seen them make enough mistakes to not count our chickens before they're hatched.
That's definitely true, but I think so far this game have done quite well for themselves. I think I have really liked how Special was able to roam into the bot lane early on, how they controlled this bot side river, because top side river wasn't really going for them all super well, and now 3 minutes away from when XL could really look to blow this game wide open. And I think they've got a lot going for them. Now Kryze is really leveling up towards the top side, has a big 2-level advantage. And if you look at his counterpart, Jenax has to itemize to match this Vladimir in a side lane. Went for the Hextech Gunblade, is building some MR now, because this matchup later on into the game does get super painful for Kennen if you go into a side. It's why we're not seeing the Proto Belt, which I prefer on the Kennen, especially for these team fights. It's because sometimes you actually need the sustain as well as the disengage option of that Gunblade.
I mean, we've all seen Vladimirs when they hit level 16, when they get to 2 or 3 items, just devastate teams. That's what Kryze will be intending to do, and that's what XL have intended to do through Kryze a lot this split. You know, he's always been on these solo lane carries ever since he joined the team, and it hasn't tended to work for them. Usually, like, it's worked when he's maybe played Wukong or Kayle, or I think he won a game on Quinn as well, but usually that ends up going poorly for them. So I'm actually excited to see Kryze playing well so far this game. I want to see if he can keep that momentum rolling.
He's setting up a freeze in the top side of the map, which is going to put some pressure. Oh, well.
Okay, guys, breaking the fourth wall. This is why we don't talk about freezes in the LEC.
He literally
because whenever they should do it, they don't.
No, but it's not even like he just spent 30 seconds like building the wave. Like there's like 18 million ranged minions ready to get into his town. He's like, cannon minions coming? Well, gotta push this. Need to get out of that as soon as possible.
Imagine if he had, though, like a freeze gives you like 400 gold a minute in advantage over your lane opponent.
Yeah, and
he's
because there's
already
no
got the
objective
most
anywhere else on the map, like that's a moment where I think it would have actually been a really good option, because I was about to say like SK would actually feel pretty pressured. Yep. They know that Kryze could just be stacking up minions, and instead this minion wave, you can see Jenax like, forget mid lane, I can just run on up here, it's gonna be fine. And if Kryze had just waited a little bit longer, create some more pressure and get the push out as the Infernal Drake is spawning, I think that would have been much better for the team.
TP gonna be used mid here by SK. They are even-ish in gold, about a 500 gold lead for them. They do have a bigger Aphelios, 2 items complete, Infinity Edge and the Runan's Hurricane. We see the Ludens finished on ZaZee. So this next fight, coming up in about 45 seconds, is likely to dictate the pace of this game, Ender.
Yeah, it's all about Crowny. One more time, you can see Caedrel trying to interrupt the reset. I'm not sure how much money Crownshot has. He can sell that coal if he's about to hit, you know, another break.
Caedrel caught out in the Tempered Fate. Gets the Lantern out, though. He still had Flash there, so the rest of SK perhaps just not quick enough to pull the trigger.
And at the same time, Kryze was not baited on the teleport, so he's still topside pushing in that minion wave. We'll be trying to look for a TP flank. There's a lot of good wards. Control ward by that bottom side Raptor camp. There's ward right over the wall. Kryze can get into the backline to wreak havoc.
Special has the Banshee's Veil as well, so those Sleepy Trouble Bubbles, even if they connect, will not slow up this LeBlanc. Dragon up. 6 seconds. There's the TP flank, but there's a ward. ZaZee's going to step around the side. Special jumping in to see if he can catch anyone. Torre goes in with the play, doesn't really connect onto anyone. Special jumping forward once again. The Banshees is now popped. Dragon, 7,000 on it. Wow. Respect flash there from Patrik as he gets out of the way of that paddle star. Didn't want any piece of that action. The Dragon resets. Waves pushing in the bottom lane for XL. Top wave seems to be about even. Mid lane even as well. But here comes the paranoia. Can Caedrel get into the pit? But there's the slicing Maelstrom, and it locks them all in place for the moment. The shutdown comes out from Special on the side. The Dragon is secured by Caedrel, and to stop the show is exactly what he wants to do. Special killed off towards the backside. Kryze trying to escape as well. He's been ignited. He's ticking down, and he will die. Goodbye, Vladimir.
ZaZee can chase this. He's got another flash medic.
Hook just goes wide. Sleepy Trouble Bubble doesn't connect, and ZaZee should not be able to chase any further.
Okay, baby, ZaZee showing up right there. So they lose the Infernal Soul, which is devastating for SK, but ZaZee putting on a clinic there. It started before the fight even, when he got Patrik to burn his flash just with a paddle star on the way, but they lost Crownshot, and that's going to mean SK are not able to get over this Baron immediately.
Limit pop that fast cone.
I don't think they kill this nearly fast
They've
enough.
got the TP in as well, though, and Aphelios is on his way. He's about to brood buff right now. Caedrel does have Hex Flash, can jump across this wall. There's no ward. Now he's going to step into that control ward. So they know that this is happening as he pops a control ward of his own into the pit. But Caedrel still has the Hex Flash. The rest of the team are on their way. XL trying to team up here. Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands. You can burn it, you can burn it, you can burn it. The Temper Fate coming out as well, and they get the Baron. Really good stuff from SK. They land the sleep, they put the Temper Fate down, and they make sure that Caedrel cannot get into that pit.
All the delay right there from SK being layered so wonderfully. I mean, you called it. ZaZee one more time, landing the skill shot there and forces Caedrel to not be able to enter. But Trick, you don't want to be here, man. He's going to have to flash on out.
Ooh. And after that sequence of events, we have an Infernal Soul on XL. We have a 3,000 gold lead on SK. You're sitting at Banshee's Veil second for Jenax. So a little bit more damage, but without that Zhonya's pass, it still gives him some protection.
I mean, I think in this game, like, all solo laners should be eyeing that Banshee's Veil in this. Like, there's too much magic damage. 4 magic damage dealers in these solo laners doing so much, and I think it's going to be really pivotal, especially for ZaZee, because the enemy team wants to dive him every single time. You can see here, Special does a lot of work jumping on towards Crownshot, just nuking him at the start of the fight, but then ZaZee somehow kills him off. Oh, he drops the Ignite on Special that he picked up. He stole Special's Ignite, he puts it on his face, he gets that kill, then flies back into the fight and is able to chase down. There's just so many summoner spells dropped in this river that gets an Ignite, gets a flash, gets another Ignite. Like, it's just too OP.
Actually, it's just disgusting. Zoe, when she pops off, is a sight to behold, to be sure, and you can see how much damage she did in that last fight. Credit as well to Jenax, who caught a great slicing Maelstrom across all of XL. And now what XL will be looking to do is survive. You have a minute 30 on this Baron buff. If you can get out of this without losing an inhibitor, you are in an advantageous situation. Crownshot chunked out just a little bit by Special as he jumps forward, but this tower will be forfeit.
I love how SK are playing this too. Trick is in mid lane because he has his ultimate in order to reposition with the team, so he's just there to Baron buff up those minions. He doesn't actually have to attack any of the towers himself, and ZaZee, if he's given time to set up around any of these sieges, can be very devastating. But I think that's going to be pretty much it for SK. They've got themselves 5 turrets on the map. It's a little bit too early to be threatening the inhibitor towers. And remember, there's an Infernal Soul on SK. So even though they are down 3,500 gold overall, that Infernal Soul is going to offer them so much more in these team fights and only going to become more powerful as the game ramps up and more items come through to buff that up.
Promised team fights, and we're definitely getting them in this game. Next game, we get Jack Troll versus his former team ender. Origen will take on Vitality. Origen yet to lose with Jack Troll at the helm. He said he's the team's main shot caller. That's been backed up by Giotto, by everyone else on that team. So we'll see if he's able to take Crownshot and his former crew down. But for now, it feels very much that we are waiting 2 minutes, and we have 2 minutes to discuss whatever we want to discuss about these two teams. Whether there are item breakpoints, so you know the headstring actually, and a stopwatch for Crownshot is interesting to me. He's just trying to be as safe as possible against this LeBlanc.
It's because LeBlanc and Vladimir are diving them every single time. Like the backline damage dealers must acquire magic resistance, and this is exactly right for SK. It gives them a really solid chance in the coming team fight if they are able to absorb the initial burst that Kryze and Special are able to put down. The other thing I want to look for that I don't feel like we've seen a ton is the Nocturne ultimate as a crowd control effect in these team fights. That near sight, when you're against ZaZee, especially when she can work with those walls to extend the range of her sleeps, when she can, you know, make her Q go 1.5 miles across the screen, you're just not going to be able to see it coming. And the spells move too quickly to be able to react to it by the time it actually comes into your field of vision. In the same vein, you can use that to mask a teleport flank from a Jenax, or to allow him with the Ghost, as well as, you know, the repositioning there on the Kennen to be able to come into the back lines as well. So that's what I want to see from SK. That's the level of coordination that I think can try to swing things.
And it's the level of coordination we've seen a couple of times from SK this split, but not consistently. They have played, well, pretty well across the entirety of the split, currently sitting at 6 and 5, tied in 3rd position. XL languishing a little bit further down. You know, 8th place, they did have a tough week last week, but they really need to start racking up these wins if they're going to place in the bottom of playoffs.
Both mid laners have built themselves void staffs coming into this fight, so Special has the ability to now cut through the damage dealers that have picked themselves up MR here. He's the big carry at the start. I mean, there's quite a bit with the Banshee Veils. And, oh, here we go.
Yeah, limit caught out just a little bit. There's the threshold coming down. See flash away from Torre. Kryze teleporting in, but really just been a little bit of nothing right now. Special's being exhausted. Jenax trying to put the damage in across the wall. 13 seconds on the Elder.
But that's not how I wanted to see the ult used. The ult got used after Zoe had used all her spells without Jenax being able to be in a position. So now that spell is going to be on cooldown, but ZaZee is still such a threat around that choke point.
He's going to go in with a lightning surge, but look at the damage. Straight away from Special. Jenax goes down, the Elder Dragon started now, the Paddle Star doesn't connect, and it's a 5v4 in favor of XL. Special will just try and keep SK away from this if he can. He's coming up towards the bottom side of this fight. Kryze chunking out Crownshot, chunking out ZaZee. The hook goes wide once again. They're taking a lot of damage here from the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, it still could be a 50-50. Watch Special on the flank. There is a ward to spot him out, but he's going to try to disrupt this backside and make sure the rest of his team can go in without Crownshot able to retaliate.
Caedrel down to about 1/3 of his HP. The Dragon resets. The sleep lands on Torre. The Paddle Star does not. Special still at the back of the pit here. There's a control ward that will spot him out if he goes any further. Hook goes wide once again. You say it's a 50-50. Here's the magical journey, but Trick is just deleted by Special. XL get the Dragon, and now the chase is truly on. Special chunked out once again. The Temper Fate hits the Banshee's Veil on Special as Kryze gets the shutdown on ZaZee. And XL were able to wait out the Baron and now are looking for one of their own.
Not only do XL get the Elder Dragon, but with that going down, Kryze and Special both ticked over to level 16, so they are absolutely massive here and certainly going to be able to take themselves this Baron buff. Jenax doesn't have an ultimate, so there's just nothing SK can do about it.
It's just, I mean, yeah, there's nothing. I was hoping just for a second that perhaps Jenax would try and get into this fight, but as you say, no ultimate, no hope to get into it, and XL now will take the gold lead. Only 800 gold ahead, but they have an Elder Dragon, they have an Infernal Soul, they have a Baron buff, and if they can't end here, I agree with Vedius, their execution is lacking.
Sure, I think we'd all be in agreement with Vedius now, and even Frost, after those fighting words were thrown down. Now, SK, I feel like in this fight we see the limitations of their composition after an extended period in the fight, because first of all, Jenax goes to this 1v1 against Special, which is ill-advised, and also, like, you're using your ultimate for one person, so even if he's able to chunk out Special and get out himself, I think that is a huge overcommitment for SK, because now, without a frontline, without that, you know, AoE CC, they can't reclaim control in the river, so the only thing they can do is play off of skill shots from ZaZee. His skill shots were not connecting in this situation, so Trick goes for the 50-50, dies before he even has a chance to smite that one away, and the rest of the team gets run down coming away from the objective.
I would say that was the most obvious attempt at a 50-50 I've ever seen. Like the magical journey, he had flash, he could have like tried to maneuver around it and flash around, but it's very easy to tell where you should distort when your enemy has a straight line to where they'll end up. And you can see XL taking the gold lead really for the first time in the game. About 2,000 gold ahead as they cracked that mid-tier 1. Special's pushing bot lane by himself. Caedrel chunked out just a little bit here.
With an Elder Dragon, a Special has the ability to 100-0 people now. With that extra burst damage coming in at the end, the true damage, he has it. And by being in bot side, he has a very nice flank if a fight were to break out between these towers.
It's like DFG Mark II, right? Because it's 25% of the health they need to have left, and then you just burst them.
I think it's like Giga Dark Harvest.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Giga Dark Harvest, which just blows.
That's the new name. He tries to do it to ZaZee. The Ignite's ticking, the Dawning Shadow doesn't quite connect, and ZaZee, oh, he must be close to the threshold. Crownshot forced away as well, and that's the inhibitor tower in the bottom lane taken. XL will get the second in the mid lane. It could be the first win in a few here for XL. We've put them up to 5 and 7, which would be much better for them, tying them up in that 6th place spot. Trick is dead. And the next on the menu is Jenax as XL dive into the base. Jenax is gone. Limit is up to follow. The hook goes wide, but the minions will help out XL. Nexus towers their target, and right now Young Buck can say one thing at least. He knows that XL are better than SK today.
That's the second time now XL have been able to take down SK, and that is huge in the conversation for playoffs. XL came into the week 4 and 7, improved to 5 and 7 with this win, and knocked down one of their key competitors for those final playoff spots here. I think they had some pretty solid play, especially in those team fights. I was looking at Special and Kryze from the beginning. We said, forget about the Senna, forget about Patrik. It was those two players that did come up clutch and really just ruin SK's backline.
And SK, of course, will be ruining a few of the mistakes they've made. You can vote for our Kia player of the game at LEC on Twitter. Kryze, Caedrel, and Special are your options. I think they all had good games. I was especially happy to see Kryze perform quite well because it's been rare that that's really happened.
Yeah, I thought his flanks were really good. I also want to say, Caedrel, the topside river, not his thing. Maybe no. not any jungler's thing. Botside river, all him. He really got all those smites around the objectives. Really well done there to get the soul and the Elder on top.
Great stuff from Caedrel, great stuff from XL. We'll soon get some more insight from Torre before Origin and Vitality face off in our second game.
Charged up. Hello, everybody. Let the game begin.
welcome back to the LEC, everyone. Excel won their first game of this week 6, and I have Laure with me to talk about the game. Hi, Laure. Congrats.
Hello. Thank you.
Well, thank you for meeting me here. I mean, first things first, let's talk about the draft here. You banned Twitch. We saw how successful this champion was for SK last week. So tell me about the reasoning behind this ban, because this is not a champion we often see in the meta, right?
Well, basically, in the draft, we got some free bans. Like, we were supposed to ban something, but they banned it for us. So we just took out Twitch because it's, I guess, a pocket pick, a cheese pick. I don't really, or we agree that it's just a good ban because, yeah, it was just a free ban. So we just take out one of their like pocket picks and it's just free.
All right. So coming from SK, helping you out, taking away some bans you had in mind, I get that. But during the game, you had the edge, but in a way, I felt like ZaZee Zoe was getting a bit too much at some point, and I'm wondering, could she be a game breaker champion in this game specifically?
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of dragon fights and fight around objectives where it's really important to have good vision against Zoe. If not, she's just gonna throw bubbles, and you know, Zoe, if she hits a bubble and a max range Q, you're gonna get taken out. Yeah. So it's yeah, it's really important for us to get good vision and kind of get good control over the objectives we fight around. And since the dragon was a win condition for us, it was a big part of the game. Yeah,
and you focused a lot on that, grabbing each and every one of them. Now, you won this game. I mentioned the race for playoff with Youngbug before the interview. Beating a team like SK today, what does it mean to you? When you look at the standings and everything, especially.
Well, they're a really good win to pick up because they're going to be one of our main competitors for a playoff spot. So it's really important that we get these wins against let's say the worst teams, you know, and then like against the bigger teams, it's like more okay to, or better teams, more okay to lose to them. But yeah, for fighting against these teams, it's just really important to pick up the win to like be in a much better position, not having to win against the best teams.
And now about Excel as a whole, I mean, I often hear it's hard to rank this team. I even heard it from your coach. So what did you think about that?
Yeah, I think we haven't really played that well. We are really inconsistent, and it just yeah, we're just struggling to find our footing in the league, I guess. And it's been going all right recently, and we've been improving a lot. So I have high hopes, and just want to keep going and show what we're capable of doing.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you played very methodically today, and I mean, I had special. He was chosen as the player of the game here, and he unlocked the situation bot lane, coming with the roams, with the LeBlanc. So, what did you think about his performance as a mid laner?
Yeah, I think he played really well today. He really stepped up and saved me from dying in bot lane. I think he came picked up a free kill on the Bard, and yeah, I think he played his role really well. He was playing really well around the objectives, poking them out, and yeah, I'm happy about his performance.
Yeah, I'm happy about your guys' performance overall. And I mean, how do you see Excel evolving through all this with the few weeks you have left? Can we expect to see more from you guys?
Yeah, I mean, if we keep playing a bit better and improving, we're definitely gonna be up there. And I think we just have to see how we perform in the next games. You know, it can really, anything can happen. It's best of ones, you know, and we're just taking every day by day and improving as much as we can.
And looking forward to see more from you guys on the Rift. Now, Laure, thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you.
And we're going to take a break and come back in a few minutes with Schalke 04 versus Vitality. Stay tuned, guys.